Hi everybody, it's Kayla, and welcome back to Speed Build Someday. So today we are building what is potentially one of my favorite houses that I've ever built in The Sims 4. This is what I'm calling my beautiful brownstone, okay? Now, this is one of those ones that I went a little bit overboard with the storyline on, so it's a bit of a mess. It's a beautiful house, but like the story, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but I'll explain. Don't worry. But if you don't know the style of house, I recommend you look it up because I think you'll like these kind of houses a lot. This is like one of my favorite kind of houses to look at. Picture like those big, like in New York City, like those big giant brownstone townhouses type things, terraced houses you might call them, but it's like this big 3-story skinny little townhouse, and it's so pretty. These things are like very expensive in real life, but it's so pretty and I love it a lot. And I had this whole storyline for who lives here, and I was gonna make it an actual townhouse and like have one next door to it and stuff, but I ended up just building the one and giving them like kind of a side yard. But it's on a 20 by 15 lot. It's 3 stories, so again, it's like very tall and skinny, but that's sort of the style of the house that it's supposed to be, you know? And I really enjoy building it. And so basically, I need to explain who lives here, all right? So picture this, right, though. It's a really old brownstone house in New York City. I mean, obviously it's not quite in New York City, but it's in New York City, and it's one of those older homes that's been renovated. So it has a lot of like original features, for example, like the windows, and like they have these pretty archways and this pretty staircase and like all this kind of fancy architectural detail is the same, but they've obviously gone in and like repainted everything and stuff like that. So I just imagine that, like, you know how you'd have a house today, or if it's like the perfect pristine house today has like all white walls, you know, like very white and gray. That's like very in right now, like kind of open floor plan, all white walls. I kept the floor plan the same, but I did go in and paint all the walls that whitish gray color, sort of intentionally. So it's supposed to be like a kind of renovated, more modern looking, well, I say modern. I don't mean, when you guys think modern, you're talking like crazy, like modern, whoa, futuristic, whoa. I'm just talking like contemporary, like what you'd find in real life modern, and not like a house that was built 80 years ago. You know what I mean? But anyway, it's really nice inside. And in my head, there's this couple, right? These two guys live here. One of them is in it, so they're kind of a young couple. Like they're late 20s, early 30s, you know, kind of young. And one of the guys, he has this really amazing job at this tech startup, but obviously he's working like crazy long hours because he has this new tech startup job. So he's like doing all this work, but he just kind of fell into a lot of money pretty recently. So they bought this brand new kind of, well, new's a strong word. It's a brand new old home, like a newly updated older house, but it's really expensive, spent all their money on it, you know, really proud of this place. But the other husband, he works just like a normal person job. Like, I don't know what he does. Maybe he's like, yeah, he's something else, but like doesn't work as crazy hours, definitely not as like crazy invested in his work as his husband is. So they kind of clash on that a little bit because like he doesn't get like the amount of work that he needs to be doing and stuff like that. And one of the guys, I forget their names. I had names. It was like Brian and something, but I built this so long ago, I don't even know. But they had really good names. But one of them really wants to have kids like now, and so they're like looking into adopting and stuff. But obviously like the one who's working all the time, he's like, we can't adopt right now. Like that's ridiculous. I don't have any time. Like we need to wait until we're like more settled, I think. You know, once like this calms down a bit, I'll have more time to have kids. And he's like, but I want them now. And they kind of clash on that, but like they both want kids. And so they have this already pre-decorated nursery in their house, but they don't have any babies or anything. But mark my words, one day they will. But I think that's kind of funny. I liked that. I liked this like kind of rich couple thing. I also, in my mind, their next door neighbors they're like this lesbian couple, and they're like the complete opposite. Like these people, they really want to have babies. And they have this dog. They have this like purebred corgi, you know, whereas their neighbors are super into cats and they like don't get along very well. And also, okay, this is so dumb. I don't even know how to explain this story without it sounding ridiculous because I know it doesn't make any sense. But like in my mind, in the stream, kind of made up this story where the previous owners of this house, before they sold it to this new couple, the previous owners had installed this hot tub in their backyard, and it flooded. It exploded and then flooded. Now, I know what you're thinking, it's a hot tub, that's not going to happen, but it did. The hot tub exploded. It exploded and it flooded the neighbor's house, right? And so the neighbors are not happy with like just this townhouse in general, and they're also terribly afraid of water. Like because of the flooding incident, they're so scared of water, and they hate the new neighbors, even though like I bet they've met this couple like one time, but they like already hate them because they're like, you're boys, you like dogs, and you have a hot tub, dead to me. And so they don't get along well. Also, the neighbor's house, this is like a really tall, skinny house. The neighbor's house is like short and fat. It's like a ranch style house, you know? And they're like complete opposite in every way. Do you like my story? I want to make the neighbors too. I haven't had time to make the house or the Sims yet, but mark my words, I will make the Sims and I will make the house, and it's gonna be good, okay? But I think it'll look kind of dumb in game if you have, like, because realistically, like, this house in real life would be, like, connected to ones next to it, and they'd all be, like, in a row. They'd be all built, because there's no windows on the side of the house, because they only have them in the front and the back, because it's a townhouse. But in The Sims, there are no townhouses that are functional. I wish that we could build them like that, because in The Sims 3, you could build a townhouse like that, and then you can make the other buildings, like, they could still be on your lot, but they aren't functional. Like, you can't go into them. You can mark them like apartments, kind of, and I wish we could do that in The Sims 4, but alas, we cannot. So this is a standalone house. They built a brownstone in, like, complete suburbia, because they wanted to have that, like, city vibe, but they just built it in, like, suburban Newcrest, next door to, like, all their little ranch neighbors. It's not even a little ranch. I mean, it's going to be a big ranch, but it's going to be short and fat. It's a short and fat house. This is a tall, skinny house. They're going to have a short, fat house. It's going to be so cute. I can't wait to build it. You see, I'm saying all this. I'm making all these plans as if I'm going to build this house before I get back. I'm going to be gone for, like, 2 weeks. I'm not going to build it by the time I get back. Like, I'm leaving, well, today is Sunday. I'm leaving on Tuesday for TwitchCon EU. I don't know when you're seeing this video. When am I posting it? I'm posting this on Sunday, the 14th. Hey, when you see this, TwitchCon is over. How was it? Did you have fun? Did I meet you? Let me know in the comments down below. Probably not, because, like, how many of you guys are going to TwitchCon Berlin? Some, not many. I'll be there, though. I'm really excited about it. I can't wait. But yeah, by the time you guys see this, I'll be done and gone. But then I'm going to get home on Tuesday, and then I'm leaving that weekend to go to see my grandma over Easter. And so I'm just kind of, like, gone a lot. Also, finals week is coming up. I don't even want to think about that. I know I'm complaining a bunch right now, you guys, but, like, listen, hear me out. The fact that finals week is coming up, like, I spent a lot of time today working on homework and stuff, just because it's, like, end of the semester, like, I've got, like, a research paper due soon and stuff like that, and it's getting to my head, okay? I'm gonna lose my mind. Like, looking at, like, the last few things I have to do, I'm, like, gonna freak out, but I'm just trying to not think about it. It'll be okay. Again, just don't think about it. Everything's fine. We're all good. It's totally fine. Back to the house. As you can see, I liked how tiny the floor plan was, because again, it is still this, like, older house and kind of closed off floor plan. They didn't knock down any walls or anything, so they wanted to keep that, like, architectural integrity of the house. But they did update everything. So the walls are all freshly painted. You know, they've got the beautiful updated kitchen. They've got beautiful updated bathrooms. It's really pretty in here, and I want to play in this house so bad. I love smaller houses like this. I know that doesn't make much sense, but, like, I love the cramped feel of this house. I just think it's more fun to play in stuff like this. Although, I don't know if I'm a fan of the 3-story thing. I like cramped 1-story houses. I like being able, I say this all the time, but, like, I like to have all of my stuff on the first floor, because when I'm playing in the game, it's one thing to make a pretty 3-story house, but, like, to actually play in it, to be paging up and down like that is kind of, meh. I don't like it that much. And also, when you play in, like, mansions, your Sims could be anywhere. Like, where are all your Sims? It takes them half the day to walk across to the kitchen. No thank you. Play in a tiny house, and they just are there. They just live in the kitchen. They only have a kitchen in a tiny house. I should build a tiny home. Ooh. I might build a tiny, no, why would I build a tiny house today? I have so many builds. I keep streaming builds every single day. I have so many builds on a backlog. What am I talking about building a tiny house? That's so dumb. I'm really ahead on recording though right now, so that's good, I suppose. But I am gonna leave and then not be ahead as soon as I get back, so, like, that's kind of fun too. I also, one of my friends has started helping me edit a few of my videos recently. So my Let's Plays, especially the ones that I pre-recorded, he helped me edit them. Like, I paid him, and then he helped me edit them. I know I've been saying it a million times, like, Lil Simsy, you need to get an editor. It's about time, get an editor. I did it. One of my friends is helping me. So thank God, because, listen, trying to write my research paper and also pre-record during this, like, before TwitchCon time, I always think I can do it, and I probably could have, but, like, I would have stayed up all night, and, like, that's just not good. And so, I mean, I've still been staying up late, but not, like, all night, and that's the key. So, still dying, but, like, not dead yet. To be honest, I feel like this time pre-recording, even with the help for editing the Let's Plays, has been worse than normal. And I think it's because it's end of the semester and I have all this homework going on, because usually I can do it, like, it's miserable, but I can get it done. This time, like, I had to have the help, which is unusual for me. Like, I mean, the help would be nice always, and I need to have the help anyway, but, like, somehow this time is worse. I don't know. Maybe it's like I expect it to be better and then it just isn't, so then I feel like it's worse, but listen, end of the semester is not a good time. How are you guys doing with your semesters coming to an end? Are you doing all right? I still have like 20 days left of the semester. I don't know why as of when I'm recording this, it's like we got like a couple weeks left, okay? But it's all the crunch time, because I'm taking all the history classes. I'm a history major, right? So I don't really have exams. I just have big final projects, you know? And so I don't have like stressful exam week, because all my stuff is due like that stressful exam week. So my stressful time is like now trying to finish the big projects. And so by the time exam week gets there, I'm not gonna have anything to do because I'm gonna turn them all in on like Monday, and then exam week will happen, and like I have a Spanish exam. But like, okay, that's not gonna take me hours to write a research paper for, you know? Oh, I finished all my Spanish homework today too. Hang on, you guys, listen, I know we don't like to talk about school here on Lil Simsy, but like here we are. So, as many of you probably know, I've been complaining a lot for the last like year about my Spanish class because the homework is so tedious, and I get it, it's a language class, so like the homework kind of needs to be kind of tedious and repetitive to make you learn it and stuff, but like, for one, I had to pay like $100 just to get access to the homework, okay? Just for access to the online homework. Also, I had to buy a textbook. Of course, it's a loose leaf textbook. If you didn't know, welcome to America and welcome to college. A lot of times, you'll have to spend like $100 on a textbook, and then they'll send it to you, and it'll just be a stack of paper. And it's hole punched for you, but it's just a stack of paper. It's not even bound. It's just a stack of paper, and that's your textbook. So I paid all this money for a loose leaf textbook and for access to the homework. Oh my God, but it's fine. It was worth it. I learned so much. Spanish is great, you know? But I've complained a lot because the homework is really tedious in the sense that, like, one time last semester, I had this assignment that took so long. You had to write out all of this in Spanish, okay? But picture it said stuff like, it was math questions, but you had to write out the words of the math numbers, okay? So it would be like 4,322,704 minus 6,000,012. I don't know, but obviously that's not correct, but like, it wasn't negative numbers, okay? But you had to write out like the 4 million, blah, 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 minus, blah, 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 equals, blah, blah, blah. So it's like all these super ridiculous long numbers that I don't want to do in English. Why would you even do that in English? But I had to do it in Spanish, and there was like 50 questions, and it took me forever. And I was sitting there, and I was like, wow, I have so much work to do, so much more. I have like an essay to write, and I have work for YouTube to do that's gonna get me paid, and I'm not doing that because I'm spending all this time writing out these Spanish numbers, and I was just so frustrated by it. And I've been doing stuff like that for like 2 semesters, and most of the time it's not so bad, but like it's kind of bad. And I spend more time doing Spanish homework than other homework, and I'm taking like 3 other writing intensive history classes. So like, yikes. But anyway, there's just so much Spanish homework. It's fine. Everything's fine. But I finished all of it today. I went ahead, and I've been for the last few days working ahead a little bit because there's like 3 assignments due per week. So I've been working ahead a little bit to try and get it done, and I'm done. I turned in the last one. I completed it. I finished it. So I still have an essay to do and an exam in Spanish, but like otherwise my Spanish class is done, and we're out here, my friends. The thing is, I took Spanish for 3 years in high school, so like this whole class, like both semesters, been like just a big review for me. Like it's nothing new. So that's partially why it feels so tedious, is because like I'm not learning anything new. Like I already knew all that stuff, and I'm just sitting here like typing Spanish numbers that I learned when I was like 14, you know? And it was but it's fine. It's beneficial to me. People ask me a lot, they're like, Kayla, why are you taking Spanish if you're a history major? Actually in my school, to graduate with a history degree, you have to take a foreign language. And they recommend Spanish really strongly because like I live in Florida, so there's a lot of Spanish-speaking people here, but yeah, you have to take a Spanish degree. Spanish degree? No. A Spanish or another. You have to take 2 semesters of foreign language to graduate with a history degree at my school. I think, because I would have, like, tested out of I would have already had my foreign language requirement to graduate college, like, normally, like, just gen ed stuff because of my high school classes, but you have to take it in college in order to do it with this degree, which is kind of dumb, but that's okay. I think it was beneficial to me to have the refresher. However, it just was a lot of work. But it's over now. I finished it. Heck you, Spanish class. I also, oh my god, some of the things you had to do, like there was this one assignment, like I realized it's Spanish class, so like there's speaking parts of it. I get it. I know. I came in expecting this, but like some of them are just so stressful. Like I get there, I had an assignment last week where it was like a speaking oral presentation, they called it. So you had to talk for 90 seconds, which doesn't even sound that bad, right? But to be fair, talking in English, for just like talking for 90 seconds, like just off the cuff talking for that long is kind of difficult in English. Granted, I can do it pretty well in English because I've been talking for 20 minutes. Like, I'm okay with that. But, like, in Spanish, it's a lot harder for me, obviously, because I don't really speak Spanish much. I just do a lot of, like, reading and writing of Spanish in this class. And so the speaking is still very difficult for me, obviously. And it's so nerve-wracking to do it and, like, film yourself doing it. And I had a really hard time doing that the other day. I also realized, like, I know this sounds kind of dumb, right? But it's so difficult when I'm doing those assignments to, like, put any emphasis or emotion into anything, because usually when you're speaking in English you're kind of like emphasizing words and being kind of emotional and whoa and blah, like that, but when you're talking in Spanish, at least in my experience, because I don't really speak Spanish, obviously, I know very little Spanish, it's so hard to like focus on, because you have to pronounce things right for the grade. Like the grade is based on pronouncing things, so you focus so much on that you just like aren't speaking with any emotion, so you're just like deadpan staring into the camera speaking in Spanish, and like watching it back I was like, wow, this is so painful. Oh my god. Like, imagine being the professor grading that. She probably has, like, 30 of them. It's just all these students, like, shaking, nervous, like, just speaking with no emotion for 90 seconds. Ugh. Nightmare. Sounds like a nightmare, because mine was bad. I mean, I said the things right. I made sure of that. I wanted the points. But, like, there's no grade for just, I don't know, again, having emotion, apparently. It's so weird how, I don't know, because you just don't think about that kind of thing very often. But anyway, Spanish is hard. Shout out to people that are bilingual, because I'm not. I know some things. I definitely can't speak Spanish. Definitely can't speak Spanish. But I know some things. It's kind of weird. I always thought about this, how weird it is that when you speak, because you take a language class in school, right? And normally when you learn how to speak like your first language, obviously you learn how to speak it first. Like when you're a kid, you learn like a few words, and through conversation and context and stuff, you pick up the rest of the language, and then you learn how to read and write. But when you learn a different language in school, most of the time, they teach you how to read and write first and then speak it. And so the speaking part is always so hard, because one, it's like nerve-wracking to like speak a different language in class, and like, ooh, I'm kind of scared and anxious and nervous about it. Like, I'm embarrassed to speak Spanish in class. And you've been learning how to write it first instead of like exposing yourself to the language, which I think is more difficult to learn. But I mean, it's true. People always say like, if you want to learn a language, you should go to the place where it's spoken and like immerse yourself in it. But I haven't done that. You'd think that I could do that. If I really wanted to learn Spanish, I probably could try harder. I should try harder. But, you know, I've only taken it for like 4 years now. It's fine. Everything's fine. I almost took AP Spanish in high school, and then I ended up changing my schedule to AP 3D Art, because I was like, I'm already taking 6 AP classes. It'd be kind of dumb to have a full schedule of 7 very intensive, like, I don't know, core course type AP classes. So I took AP 3D Art senior year instead, and no, junior year instead. And it was really good. I mean, it was really difficult because it's like a sculpture class, and AP art classes are so much work, and they're so scary because you have to submit this portfolio at the end of the year. So like the whole year you're like working on these pieces that are going to go in a portfolio, and it's like, oh my god, you know? It's really stressful. I know it sounds like not, but it was not fun. Honestly, AP art might have been one of, no. AP Chemistry was the worst AP class I took in high school. AP Chem sucks, but AP Art was kind of hard. And I took a lot of AP classes in high school. I was a giant tryhard in school. Ben knew that, though. Like, this is just who I am, okay? I'm a tryhard at everything I do. I was the only person in my entire class to get a 5 on the AP Art exam, though. I know that many of you don't know what that means, but the ones that do, that's really impressive. A 5 is the highest score you can get on the AP exam, and I was the only person at my entire school, because there was only one class period of this class. I was the only person at my whole school that year that got a 5 on that exam. And I don't even know how I did that, because in that class, so there's two ports. There's 2 parts to the AP 3D Art exam, like the portfolio you submit. There's a concentration part where you have a series of art pieces, and like you have like, they're all kind of similar, and like it's a series of art pieces. And there's a breadth section where you show off like your ability to make variations of sculpture and stuff. So there's 2 sections. For the breadth, I had like all kinds of like things you might expect. I don't know, like weird things. One of my sculptures, the whole class did this. It was an assignment. It was really cool. You had to, with a partner, you like wrapped each other in saran wrap, and then like and tape, like various body parts and stuff, and then created a human sculpture, like a life-size sculpture of that person, and then plastered the tape thing. I don't know how to explain this. It was really cool though, and it was life-size, and we painted it blue, and then we dangled it off a ramp thing, and it was the pictures were really cool. It sounds dumb, I swear, but it was really cool. But my concentration portion, I painted Jenga blocks white, and then I made like really, I know this sounds kind of dumb also, but like picture this, right? I made these really cool sculptures out of only Jenga blocks. That was the whole purpose. It was like only the Jenga blocks. I was like, wow, look, guys, I made all these things out of Jenga blocks. And I made like all kinds of sculptures out of them, and I took really cool pictures of them. And they were like obviously like very black and white, like kind of cool, like very sculptural, like geometric things, and it was fun because they were all only Jenga blocks. And then I wrote about in the essay for it, I was like explaining how, I don't know, this sounds so dumb. Talking about it sounds really dumb, but I was proud of myself. It was also really annoying to do because I would sit there and I'd like be trying to make ones and it just wasn't working the way I wanted it to. And it was just like kind of winging it most of the time and like seeing if it would work. So that was kind of weird. But it ended up really cool and I got some really good pieces out of it, but then they're all gone afterwards because I kept just reusing the Jenga blocks, so I'd take pictures and then get rid of them. It was kind of fun though. I'm not gonna lie. But on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and cut off right here. I'm not an artist, for sure, and I can't speak Spanish, but I tried my best, and that's all that matters. Are you an artist? Can you speak Spanish? Let me know in the comments down below. But again, I'm gonna go. Make sure to leave a like and comment about my I want essays about your art skills in my comments. Thank you. I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry. Bye. How? I keep telling myself I'm not going to talk about school anymore in my videos, and then I sit here and I'm like, haha guys, my Spanish class again for the 15th time, but never again because it's done. I finished. It's over. Thank God.